Hello, my name is Simon the Miller Report Miller and welcome to the Miller Report. Now, before you smart asses start tweeting me saying, why is your name the same as the damn show? Shut up! I will come down that camera lens and I will beat you chuffing
Miller, cut that shit out!
Excuse me. Anyway, yes, this is the Miller Report, a brand new weekly gaming news show where I will cut through the faff and give it to you straight. For example, Half-Life 3 is never coming out, you nerds. Deal with it. Also, if you like your video game news to come more in the variety of lies, I suggest you stop watching this and go watch Igen, Kotaku, maybe Vag 24/7 or GameSpot. Are you kidding me? GameSpot? More like crap spot. No, wait, crap place. Because a spot's like a place. Let me tell you. This week Nintendo did announce that after years of research and development, it was going to release cardboard as an accessory for its latest console, the Nintendo Switch, a machine that has constantly been touted as for babies. While the jury has been out in that regard for some time, this latest reveal proves without a shadow of a doubt that the Switch was designed for underdeveloped bodies and mind and those who just shit whenever they want to take a shit. Known as Labo, which sounds like a name you'd give to a dog, Nintendo has promised that infants will now be able to craft items such as a fishing rod, a piano, motorbike handles and even a miniature house, all materials that those under the age of 3 would get excited about. Now here's Nintendo experts and owners of Mothercare, Richard Von Spooth and Carl Edwards XI with more.
Thank you, Simon.
It's Miller, you cretin!
Sorry, Miller then. It's a bit weird, it's a pre-recorded bit. Anyway, this week, massive news that rocked the gaming industry to its foundation. Nintendo's big idea for 2018 is taking something that costs mere pence and charging £60 for it. Because the internet especially has a love affair for the Japanese company and considers it infallible, the response to the news has been very positive, despite the fact that, again, it is cardboard and it costs £60. For context, here are several things made out of cardboard.
When the news became official about Labo, which sounds like the name a child would give to their toy science kit, unless it's Labo, in which case we're not going there, the real surprise was the reaction of grown adults who ironically threw their toys out of the pram because they didn't want to play with cardboard. When a Nintendo representative explained it was aimed at children, or adults with big imaginations, the same group merely responded, "Sure, but what about me?" before tweeting about how dissatisfied they were with the product before reading a manga.
As ever, if Microsoft or Sony had announced that their next big project was cardboard, the backlash would have been immense, but given Nintendo's free pass status, it's been heralded as a revelation, and a revelation that will serve the gaming community for years to come.
Nintendo also announced that following this, shares went up by 4.2%, mostly thanks to babies making so much noise that parents thought the only way to calm them down was by investing in this pathetic child's plaything. Back to you in the studio.
The first big game of 2018 was also released as Capcom went back to the Street Fighter well once more, and this time just hurled the world's arcade edition onto the end of the damn name. As usual, gamers were too stupid to realise this ploy and bought it all the same, which led to the president of Capcom, Mr. Capcom, to release this statement.
But yes, in summation, it's been an absolute pleasure to introduce the new Street Fighter game to you all, which of course, as you now know, is merely last year's Street Fighter game, but with the title changed. I have to tell you all as well that as Capcom's president, I live in eternal fear that one day fans are going to cotton onto all this and simply stop buying the game. But every year, here we are. I'll take a few quick questions before we're done. Anybody? Stephen! Good man. How's the family?
Yeah, they're dead.
Yes, wonderful. What was your question?
Are you going to be releasing any other content for Street Fighter?
Yes, absolutely, we will be doing that. I'll be releasing whatever we've still got lying around the office that was deemed not good enough for the original game, as and when I'm told to bring in the cash injections. Great question. Any others? Paul, they're not still bringing you to these old things, are they?
Clearly.
Good man. What was your question?
So you've updated everything. This is all Capcom's work.
Great question. Yes, absolutely it is. Yes, except no, it's not. We didn't reskin the thing. We paid some children to do it. Except no, it's not. We didn't pay them.
Capcom has also just released Monster Hunter World, a game aimed at grown adults where you pretend to be somebody else and then try and stop unrealistic creatures. It was released for the Xbox One and PS4, both of which are made out of plastic, not cardboard, because cardboard gets soggy when wet. It's now my privilege here on the Miller Report to introduce our first ever guest. He's a world-renowned indie developer, and he's been making games for the past 5 years, some of which have gone on to become massive hits. So I'd like to welcome at this time Brian Cranst, indie game developer, to talk about your new game, Brian, Daughter of Fate.
Thank you, Miller. Yes, it is me, Brian Cranst, and it's a pleasure for me to be here today on the Miller Report to tell you about my new game, Daughter of Fate. Who is my daughter and what is my fate? This is mostly what you will learn in my new video game, Daughter of Fate, coming out soon. And aside from that, it is built from the ground up. It has a persistent online world. There is verticality in it. Verticality. And it basically has everything you could hope for from a modern video game, including the multiplayer.
Right, you said a lot of words in there, Brian. One of the things you mentioned was multiplayer. What can you tell us about the multiplayer?
Well, unfortunately, I cannot talk about the multiplayer at this time, because if I did, I'd give you too much information, and why on earth would I want information about my game spreading across the world? What would be the point? What would be the point? Who wants marketing and who wants sales? But I am also pleased, as I am here, to tell you that yes, the game will have very, very intense and very, very emotional downloadable content, or DLC.
Right, well, if you can't talk about it, why did you bring it up? What about the downloadable content? What kind of downloadable content can we expect from Daughter of Fate?
Alas, I cannot talk about the DLC right now because, again, we're not at that stage. Right now, it's just about telling you about the persistent online world, the verticality, and all those other things, and just mentioning other buzzwords so you know to get excited, but not to give you too much information. Much as I can say now that, yes, once we are done with Daughter of Fate, we do plan to start work on Daughter of Fate 2.
Right, Brian, you keep saying things, and then I question you on them. That's how an interview works, and you tell me you can't talk about it. Tell me about Daughter of Fate 2. You mentioned a sequel. What have you got planned for Daughter of Fate 2?
I cannot tell you about Daughter of Fate 2, Simon, because what kind of developer would I be if I started talking about the sequel before my original game had come out? But I promise you, soon, Daughter of Fate, and after that, Daughter of Fate 2. Wonderful.
Kill me. Thank you, Brian. We're going to cut it there. We're going to cut it short. Daughter of Fate will be out soon. Maybe one day you'll get a sequel. Maybe one day you'll get some information about it. Who the hell knows? Our final piece this week is that a scientific study has 100% proved that yes, video games is nothing more than a pointless hobby for nerds that just want to hang out in their bedrooms or their basements. Conducted by the University of Reading, gamers were put in a controlled environment where they were told to do nothing but play games for a week, whereas 10 non-gamers were allowed to get on with their regular lives. Unsurprisingly, the results showed that non-gamers were able to go to the gym, eat out with friends, visit the cinema, and actually live a healthy lifestyle, whereas the 10 gamers, all they had to say for themselves was, well, I finished Halo. That doesn't even make any sense. It's barely a sentence. Here's our man in the field with a deeper report. Gaming has always been deemed somewhat of a geek hobby, but on the grounds of social media and the like, this has forever been a war of words which stopped it from ever becoming fact. Fans of the hobby refuse to be insulted in such a way. Today, we know they no longer have a leg to stand on. Here at Reading University, Professor Plum and his team have gone in depth about what actually playing a game does to the human brain, and the results have been astounding.
Well, I've always been fascinated by video gaming, and I wanted to give it a connotation, much like those who read a lot of books are deemed as smart, and those who love classical music seem to have a certain sophistication around them. Alas, my findings were really quite to the point. The 10 people who I studied with were smelly. They were in very poor health for individuals, and all they were interested in was getting more loot in Destiny, which was a shock to me because I actually tried to play some Destiny, and it's bloody awful. And of course, when I raised this point to them, they called me a fucking barnacle.
Professor Plum's findings have naturally been taken very badly by the gaming community, but also by big gaming publishers as well, such as Activision and EA, with the chairman of the former saying, "Who is this fucking barnacle anyway?" Regardless of all that, one thing is certain, the gaming community is about to change. My name's been Lontac Bazaar. Now back to the studio. Bunch of chuffing nerds. As always with news stories in 2018, we then brought this topic to Twitter and social media, and here are some of the responses that we got. Master Chief is the best said, "I can't believe this moron said this. I play Gums all the time and still know how to say hello to someone. It's ridiculous." Which caused Live in the Real Wordle 746 to weigh in with, "Yet more lies in regards to gaming in the modern world. I finished Mario 10 times and I'm still doing other things." This guy, he finished Mario 10 times. What does that even mean? There is no game that's just called Mario, it has other words around it. Finally, Rusty Sensation simply had, "What a lot of sit." Thank you for tuning in to the Miller Report, and I'll be back next week to once again cut through the faff of the gaming industry. You don't know the score, you don't know the truth. Well, that was a decent show. Decent show, I guess, but you, sound guy, I saw you chewing gum. I saw you chewing gum. Don't chew gum when I'm on camera. Do you know what you do? You hold a microphone. You're basically a stand. Don't forget that. We could replace you with a stand whenever we choose fit, whenever I choose fit. So next time, you don't chew gum, and if you do, I'll take my hand and I'll ram it down your throat and I'll pull out your esophagus. I mean, you can still chew gum after that. You're going to be in a damn lot of pain.